Well, you done gone and bunged it up this time, WB. What do you have against the Middle-earth series anyways? Seriously, you make the worst marketing decisions regarding this game. Last time you were like, oh, review copies for a good game? We're not gonna send those out and make everyone sweat over it. That's gonna be totally fine. And now you're putting microtransactions in Shadow of War. Ugh, okay, let's talk about this one. I know I've been silent on it for a couple days, and that's mostly due to I've been working like a full week straight, so I haven't got around to it. And I was trying to take a video vacation, actually, for a little while, but that's not gonna happen, because you're being dumb, WB. So let's talk about these microtransactions. They're pretty much what you would expect in a game like Shadow of War, a single-player game. Emphasis on the single player, except for the ranked mode, but still a majority single player game. So throughout your experience playing Shadow of War, you will have the option to buy loot crates, because those need to be in every single game nowadays. Now, what do these loot crates have in them? Well, there's various little bonuses you can get. There's two kinds of them, because of course there is. There's one kind that gives you items in the game. They give you like random drops of different rarities and stuff, so some items are going to be better than others. So you might spend money and then get absolutely nothing that you want to use, so that's always nice. And through the other chests, you can also get things like orc followers. Yeah, you open a box and an orc pops out. That sounds absolutely wonderful, right? You can also get XP boosts and a couple other little items as well. And you do so by using your gold, which is a currency you can either buy or get in specific parts of the game, like community events and the like. It is worth noting that in the announcement, Monolith did say you can get all of these items in the game itself, but that's not really where my problem lies. So I've seen a few videos covering this topic already, and I've noticed some comments in it that are saying, well, it's a single player game, so you can buy stuff to skip parts of the game, or you can get better loot if you want to, but it doesn't really affect me as a single player who doesn't want to buy the loot crates. And unfortunately, that's probably not true, or at least there's a very high possibility that it isn't. And let me explain why. Okay, so basically, this is a big topic that came up back when Dead Space 3 came out, and it's been discussed in a couple other games as well. When you put in microtransactions in a single-player game, it incentivizes the developers to make getting certain items or doing certain things in that game, possibly even making the game more difficult to incentivize you to buy more items from their microtransaction system. So if you can spend more money and get more super rare items, then it gives the developer a really big reason to make certain parts of the game more difficult, so players think, oh, if I just get something really good, it'll make the entire experience easier. I think the part that annoys me the most, too, is that it's not like, oh, you can buy this DLC, or you can buy these specific orcs or items. They're probably super overpowered, but if you want to, you can. No, they put in a full loot crate system, so you spend real money, and then you get random items. You might not even want the items you get. Now, I'm used to that in multiplayer games. I still don't think it's the best system, but it's a thing that exists. In a single-player game, though, that would annoy the hell out of me if I spent like 10 bucks on a couple crates and then I didn't get anything that I really wanted to use. What it basically is at this point is a randomized version of cheat codes, and that's really stupid. Cheat codes in games have been around for years now, and they're perfectly acceptable in single-player games because it's your game, you're playing it alone. If you want to have an unfair advantage against the game itself, go for it, you ain't hurting anyone else. But now developers and publishers want you to pay for them, and I don't think that's okay. Recently, Two Worlds 2 had their big debacle where they went back and put microtransactions in their PC version of the game after like 8 years of having cheat codes available, and they removed the console from the game as well, so that you had to buy very similar things that you could normally get just by going into that console and inputting specific codes. And that right there is concrete evidence that single-player developers will go back and change or edit parts of their game to incentivize microtransactions. Now, with all that being said, let's talk about why microtransactions might be helpful for certain people in certain situations, because that is a thing that exists. Even in a single-player game, it can totally happen. So, as a YouTuber, I play a lot of different games, and usually not for as long as I would want to. So there are people like me or people who work 60 hours a week, etc., that still want to be able to play games and experience as much content as they possibly can. Now, they don't always get the ability to do that, or they just don't have the time to play the games. So if they can buy a couple little items through DLC or loot crates or something like that, that is a good incentive for them to do it, because then they get to experience the game to the fullest rather than getting a subpar experience or only being able to play 10 hours out of 40, etc. So in that sense, I understand why microtransactions and loot crates and stuff do exist. However, in a single-player game, loot crates with random item drops are pretty counterproductive, if I do say so myself. They would be much better off just offering the ability to buy an entire pack of items that you want tailored towards your needs when you're playing the game, because, you know, then it's not gambling. And yes, the loot crate system is gambling. You're spending real money, you're opening things, you have a chance to get something really good, or you might get absolute crap. It's 100% designed to tweak that part of the brain that says, oh, if I just get 1 or 2 more boxes, I know I'm feeling lucky, I'll get something really good. And I absolutely hate that, because this isn't a single-player game. In a multiplayer game like Overwatch or other games that have constant updates to them, they can at least explain away the loot crate system a little bit by saying, well, we're using the money that we get from these loot crates in order to fund new free content and updates. Not that Blizzard specifically needs the money to be able to update Overwatch, they don't, but at least they have some sort of excuse. This is simply greed by WB, and it's something that I'm very accustomed to seeing, but it's very sad considering I have been very supportive of Monolith up until this point. I really think that Monolith wants to make Shadow of War a good game. They've been super open about it for the last 6 to 8 months, and everything they've done with their marketing and PR up until now has been really good. Aside from that mobile game looks really bad. And you can accuse me of sucking Monolith's dick if you want to or something, whatever you want to do, it's your life, but, I mean, they've been super nice to everyone, they got a really good community, and I honestly feel like it's WB hampering them and they probably don't want to do it. I'm also very skeptical now, did they delay this game because WB wanted to put a microtransaction system in it, because it doesn't seem like a game that would really need them unless good old WB wanted it in there. So WB, if I ever find out that you delayed Shadow of War specifically to put in a loot crate system, oh, there's gonna be hell to pay. I don't know what that hell is. I'm a Canadian that lives nowhere near you, nor do I know any employees that work there, but there will be hell. I'll probably just make a video or something saying WB is dumb, but it'll be a really good video. Let me know your thoughts on microtransactions in single-player games or in Shadow of War or whatever else you want to talk about. I am PattyJack. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day.